And leadership has to move beyond authoritarian. It has to be leaderfulness, collaborative, and multifaceted, multidimensional. I know we're throwing words around, but leaderfulness is a thing. And when you have a situation like this is when you talk about leaderfulness. It can be done, you know. So this is happening. This is the Armada is in the Caribbean Sea. If you check what's being reported across the world, because people are reporting on this, apart from us here, people are reporting on this, and what they're saying is that there's going to be most people, you know, those who I trust actually, feel that there's going to be an attack. There's going to be an attack on Venezuela. A lot of people feel this way. So let's see what happens. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Back on track. We are still, many of us across Jamaica, reeling from Hurricane Melissa, just under 3 weeks. And Roger Hasfall, Community, has been going around the island and has been talking to our brothers and sisters in the worst, our family in the worst hit areas. And he's been to Westmoreland. He called in last week to give us an idea of what was happening in Westmoreland. He said a humanitarian crisis was brewing. Now, we have Roger online because I know he went to Bethel Town and we listened to that Unity, which we intended to play this morning but wasn't able to. But he's going to tell us a little bit about what he's seeing across the island and where things stand now. Roger, morning. All right.
Happy marriage.
Roger,
so join me today.
No, I'm not hearing Roger. Where is he? Okay, let me try this again. Or he's on WhatsApp? Okay. Hey, Raj, morning. All right. So, cool. All right, so I'm hearing you, Raj, but you're not coming through, so I'm hearing you. Yes.
Yeah, good morning, Kabul. Good morning, listeners.
Roger, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, when you called last week, you know, we could hear the pain in your voice because you were literally in the midst of what was unfolding, some of which you couldn't even speak about on air. That was, right. Where were you exactly last week?
I was in Westmoreland, particularly I stopped in Bethel Town and environs. So the districts, the adjoining districts that would have been in Bethel Town. You know, Bethel Town is a very large town, you know, very large, you know. And then we had to, we went into, like, you know, the places that a lot of visits were not made. And, you know, it was very, very bad in terms of, you know, people, you know, we know that when we went into some of these districts, it's the first time they were seeing anything in regards to aid, and we just had, you know, the bare minimum in terms of what me and my foundation, Good Over Evil, we managed to put together.
Yes.
You know, and these are the first time people were seeing anything.
Yes.
You know, and it was that bad. I remember I was there, and a helicopter came. And when the helicopter came at the school, the Betheltown school, hundreds and hundreds of persons gathered on the school compound, and maybe just a few dozen who collected aid. And a lot of persons left disappointed. And one of the things that was quite kind of disappointing was persons coming to me telling me that anyone who collected aid, they had to have ID. And the complaint was that when Melissa came, she didn't ask if anybody had an ID or not. She just came and wiped out.
I have seen a response to that from the government, which is to say that no IDs are required. But you yourself, as a journalist on the ground and someone who had gone also in the name of your foundation, which would distribute aid to persons in need. You had people there telling you on the ground that they
Yes.
were required to produce ID.
Yes, yes. And it based on what I saw, it was true. And it was kind of disappointing for a lot of the persons. Just that most of these persons, they have pride, and they're just not gonna make a big stink about how.
So let me just get that right,
are
Roger.
being controlled.
You witnessed that yourself.
Yes, I was there. I saw it for myself.
Right. So I hope that has been sorted, because I saw the response that no ID required, but people were asking for IDs.
Yes.
Tell me about the areas that you've been to.
Castle Mountain. Quite a few of them. I don't remember the names
And
right
all
now.
of it- and
but
all of
one
it's
them
in-
was a housing scheme.
Okay.
Just a general Bethel town area and the off what you call it now, the offsprings or
The
something
communities
like that. But I remember
off.
Castle.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. So it was just the whole general area, because as I say, it's a very large area, very large. I mean, I think Bettertown is as big or even as bigger than Portmore in terms of the
Very large
in terms
area.
of the
Yes.
mass. Yes. Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get to Betheltown because we're slated to speak with some of the persons that you met there and talked to, but we're not able to get through, and we understand.
Yes, because they have a connectivity issue down there.
Yes.
And I know that the doctor down there, he has donated his Starlink to the community. Maybe he's not there as yet. I know the police station, they have Starlink as well, but at the police station, Starlink is not that powerful. I don't know. And
we've been calling all morning. We've been calling all morning, and we're not getting through. But we did get through before, so we know that there are times, and we understand this, because for us here, we weren't hit that hard. We're having connectivity problems still, so we can understand.
Yeah.
So what we continue trying, and I'm not even sure So the situation, generally speaking, Roger, because you said a humanitarian crisis, if help didn't come, and I suppose you have been in touch with the community. What are you hearing? Is aid flowing in now? Are people feeling more comfortable?
No, the persons are. It's just the same as last week. No change in terms of how things are coming, and things trickling. But it's like a dark fight in terms of when still things come. So a lot of people now, because they have pride, they just they just bite the bullet and just whatever happened, and who can go together and coming back for their families. But I know a lot of persons they are still without shelter. A lot of persons are still catching with somebody else who have a concrete structure. There are persons. I know a lot of persons who can't move from where they are, and these people need help urgently as well. As I said, there are a lot of rubble in terms of people losing their houses, and you go there and it's just there, and persons are there every day, trying to pick up the pieces as to what can be done to a lot of people kind of help themselves, in terms of even just tacking up something so that they can weather the night, as per se, but aid is very, very limited. Limited.
All right, I'm going to now play because I'm able to get to the feature that you carried earlier, the ILREP, where it's coming unity. This was broadcast when was this broadcast?
It was broadcast on Monday.
On Monday, and you're saying the conditions remain the same.
Yes.
All right.
No change in terms of and it's just the same trickling in.
Yes. And I remember last week you spoke specifically to what was needed, that food is good, yes, and people want food, but also building materials, critical.
Yes, that would be one of the most critical thing right now. They can't get, materials in terms of, even some basic stuff. If people can't provide tents or board, I mean, there's a particular person that our foundation managed to raise some blocks for them. We're going back down there maybe next week or so. So that they can get the blocks.
Okay. All right. Roger, thank you so much. Let me just go to the feature, the ILREP that you did here, and so our listeners can hear directly from the people that we're trying to reach right now, where nothing has changed much in Bethel town, as you heard from Roger. I'm going to take an early break, Raj, and then I go to the feature, the ILREP. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Raj.
No problem. Come on, bless.
A hurricane, a Category 5 hurricane. We're trying to get back some semblance of order and some semblance of dignity to our lives. Roger Hasfall has been traveling around Jamaica, especially in some of the worst hit areas, and he's been to Bethel Town in Westmoreland, speaking to some of the residents there who have lost everything. He says he spoke to them last week. He says nothing has changed since this. So here we go.
Today, along with the Good Over Evil I Brave TJ Foundation, we will highlight the community of Bethel Town in eastern Westmoreland and the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa. Now, Bethel Town is a vast settlement and former slave village in the hills of eastern Westmoreland. It was the site of the political riots back in 1938. It can be what is termed ground zero based on the devastation caused by the hurricane, with dozens upon dozens of families severely impacted. Today, we'll speak with some of the residents who gave their accounts on the Category 5 storm's passing. Derek Black X Robinson of the Taki Heritage Group, speaking through his interpreter, says Bethel Town was the center of the impact.
All right, so I speak for Derek Black X, and I also speak for Bethel Town. So this is the center of most of the activities as to what happened with Melissa. We call it ground zero because the impact was so great in Bethel Town. Majority of persons have lost their roof. We have experienced a lot of homelessness. We are experiencing a lack of supplies, hardware supplies. We are experiencing food supplies, lack of food supplies, etc. Financially, the community needs assistance, and therefore we are imploring persons who can give us those grants and any form of assistance. They can always contact us. We are also available to assist any organization that is willing to give to the people through the Taki Heritage Group. Yes, that's the group in which we function.
Now, Omar Edwards is a student of the Bethel Town Primary. He gave his account.
The honest truth, I expect it to be so harsh. And time left run out of the house, it was like drop same time as me left. It was very, very harsh.
Take us through that experience.
So me and my father and my sister run out of the house. After I see my uncle inside of the concrete house that we go into. So we stay in the concrete house through the storm.
Were you scared or you afraid?
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about that part. I mean, when you hear the winds and so on, or you felt during that time?
Frightened. Very, very frightened.
Yeah. Student Omar Edwards, Clevan Edwards, who is born and bred in eastern Westmoreland, he spoke on the immediate needs of the community.
Basic material I talk about like 2x4, lat, ply, zinc nail, wire nail. That are most easier thing people are want now. If you building block now, if your man will rise up with building block now, I'm going to say no. Reason being, no, if you know, you want something for going on now. If you take your water off of you. Further on in the future, you build up concrete fine enough. But right now, at this present moment, we want some material if we can build up a sink structure. Even a one room where we can put the family under. Big one, little one, old people, even young people see me too. Because some of we have asthma, some of we have sickle cell. And the water, whereas rain a fall again, and a Joe alone, you know. But rain a fall. You understand me I say? So a them thing there. You see me? Yeah. Because right now, me not start rise back yet. I put my material together because reason being, me still have to out there I help 1 and 2 people. Even with tapol in the driver them play. Man want food, yes, but right now man would really prefer material than food. Because if you see your place, brother, your belly full. You're hungry, you know, but your belly full, brother. Trust me. And more time if you take it to heart, brother, you mash it down, brother. Sometimes you have to walk all left a place. You work there, you know, but you have to walk well left when it come to you.
Marissa Gordon spoke about the help that is specifically needed for elders in the Bethel town and environs.
You know, so you have a lot of people out of us now, especially the elderly, them where you know the sick people, them we can manage and stuff like that. So if you're gonna get help for them, we need help too, you know, but you know, for the elderly one, we really need it like that. We don't mind if they can get some help. Although we're looking help for ourselves. Well, help coming in, but sometimes we don't really know because we live down the road. So sometimes when they help us, we're not here. No. At first we get something. So you know, say we come out and go up at the school a while ago. We used to help. They come up there, so we say, I will walk out and see if we get here.
All right, thank you very much. I mean, we don't have much. We just never want to walk with it too long. Huh?
Right. Well, thanks for the help anyway, because it's the first way I get.
That is Marissa Gordon. Leonard Blake is from the Ashton community in Bethel Town. He spoke about how they are coping up there.
Okay, so far we all try to get in and back said way about, you know, work for loose, work for building and work for things with water. We're suffering for water and them things there. You know them way there? Water, the main thing right now, we're suffering for it. Yeah, man, boy, God, no. Life in Jamaica, if you don't say, boy, we are going to disturb disaster, so all we have to do is unite and get back on side so what we can do for each other, you see me? Man, and that is it and whatever. You help out each one if you can do it, you know them way there? Yeah. And we give thanks for the little help we are going on and get to that way, you know? Yeah, man, we have to give thanks for that and whatever. Yeah, that is it. And we give thanks for life, said we have life, and from have life, there is hope, said we. You know them way there? Yeah.
Deandra Thompson is from the Belvedere community. She says the community is well in need of material help to restart their lives.
They have some people in the community need help. They need bedding. They need tarpaulin.
They need zinc.
They need zinc. They need water. Because some people only have one black tank and they cannot find. We children don't have nowhere to lie down. So if you give me the food and we belly full now, we're stressing at the night.
Right.
Stress, rainfall every day. So I see a lot of help coming, but only thing I see coming is food. When majority of people in the community, sheep blow away, clothes wet up, and every day rain fall. And you cannot fall back if you cannot rest. We are going mad. So if you're going to help the community, help with some bedding.
Yeah.
Help with some tarpaulin. So only cause zinc.
Zinc and 2 lard.
And 2 lard. Maybe you can find two zinc where kind of tear up. But if you give me 2 lard, maybe find 2 zinc for catch penny. So me get a start there, so.
That is Deandra Thompson. Senior resident Dorothy Mott, she gave her interpretation as to what the hurricane was like in Bethel Town.
My experience is that 3/4 of the roof went, leaving us all 3 people in one room. And all we heard was noise, bang, pop, every sound you can think of came through. It was like a hurricane category 10 with earthquake and rainfall and wind. So that is how I interpret what took place. And we all stayed in one room for the whole night. And it battered the place left, right, and center. And if you look around, you will see the disaster. It can't be worse. Terrible experience. And that building over there went, concerned me. This one here, that went, and some round the back. So you can imagine now I have to be very strong and have all these strong arm people around me helping me to stop me from falling down with Melissa. As you can see, everything is on the floor, on the ground. And so we see no post office. Part of the police station is gone. The community center, the clinic, the doctor's office, and everywhere is down. It's not flat, it is the roof. All the roof are all gone.
That is senior resident in Bethel Town, Dorothy Mott. Jennifer Beckford of Castle Mountain describes her experience in trying to get aid.
Well, all right, here, so we come 2 days now to get something to eat and see the crowd are down there. Nothing from them. I give out something at Bethel Town at the first and we still don't know if we don't get something there. Not every in my district Nothing come issue nothing. So if we don't left and come and the main, nothing. Cause see me left here now 2 days now me don't hear so. And nothing. See the look of food come there, see the crowd there. What don't take over now?
That's daily struggle.
Yes,
so what are some of the immediate needs and wants for you people?
Like, we want enough things like food, water, clothing and support. And I'm bedding.
That is Jennifer Beckford. Boss Beckford says he does not live anywhere due to the storm.
It was very dangerous. I have to run from there to there to get a shelter right to the system. And right now I not even live nowhere. Cass Mountain, Westmoreland. I don't live nowhere right now. House blow down, bed gone, everything gone. And the storm was very dangerous. Because about 3-4 times I come down here I never get a package yet. Never. As master got up there, I never get a package yet. It's very rough. Right now we did it for morning, drink like a black tea and not even eat again. Thank you, darling. You understand? That's how it goes, you know, man. Everybody destruction system. So the system goes. So I try to get anything down here so right now. Because I not have bed to sleep on. I catch a people place, you know. Catch a people place because this time never easy at all. Tear up the roofs, you just left one little place, you just turn up and then about 5-9 of it turn up in one little space there. May I tell you, you run like a nut man. Right now all my foot them here say whole of them cut up. Or me run the night and them here then. I tell you, this time not easy. Dangerous storm this. I don't know how this storm came, but it came. We need some help, man. Let him know. Look here, I'm in dance and I'm not blowing. I think the man must believe a joke talk me now. I see what's talk me now, man. Not no left on the line, man, everything.
That is Boz Beckford. Pastor Aldine Sutton, a resident in Bethel Town, has expressed concerns that persons are being asked to present IDs for aid.
Persons are here, and we get to understand that you have to have an ID to collect the package. Now, why do we need an ID? Melissa did not ask who have an ID from who don't have an ID to collect package. Now, I can guarantee that most of the persons that are here only heard the helicopter and just run. None of them come prepared with an ID. Are you going to turn them back? We have to put humanity first. The most important thing. I don't have to collect nothing. But the persons that are here who are desperately in need, you're going to look at them and tell them because you don't have an ID, you cannot collect a package. Complete nonsense. If we're going to help people, we're going to help people without conditions. Too much conditions. Put away the bureaucracy. This is time for help. This is time for humanity to come together and help each other. That's my take, all right?
Pastor Aldine Sutton. Vernon Brown from the Castle Mountain says he's among those who lost everything.
Wow, at one point I swear it was a rapture, my brother. I swear everybody's life was going to take out, you know. Apart from, we only lose one person in here, one good family friend. After the storm, him die, him shake up in the storm and die after from here, so. But apart from that, a lot of people don't have anywhere to lay them head, you know. Yeah, it's really, really hard, I'm telling you. I don't know when people go find a dry space to put them head. Really hard on the poor set of people right now, I'm telling you. A roof over many head. So, and food, waters, material, if you put back if I have a shelter over a lot of person head, you know. Yeah, that's the most necessary thing right now. Like for instance, 2x4 zinc lot, and who can get some cement as well. If you put back a foundation, get some cement with sand and stone as well, and stuff like that. Those necessary kind of stuff we can put a roof back over our head right now.
That is Vernon Brown. Alicia James from Castle Mountain was close to tears as she spoke about living in the rubble.
Welcome to the community of Castle Mountain, to limited trees and limited leaves on tree. This is what Melissa have left us with. We are among the rubbles just like other persons. Not only that, everything named board house in this community is demolished completely. But guess what happened? We have life and we are grateful and we're thankful that we have life and we can start over. Because when you look at some of the things that happen here from Melissa, the community is, we have one death from this. A young man that lived over there by the name of Bolo, he passed. But we are standing and bracing. Glory be to God, we have some good Samaritan right now that bring us some food item which we are grateful for. So when you go back out there, remember Castle Mountain. We are in dire need because everything near board house is flat. And those that are concrete, the glasses are gone, doors are gone, but we're still grateful that we're still standing. And once we're still standing, it means that the Lord will help us to bounce back. So remember us and send help for Castle Mountain in Westmoreland.
That is Alicia James, and we close out with Black X of the Taki Heritage Group, who spoke on the vision for Bethel Town arising out of Hurricane Melissa.
Yes, so the vision for Bethel Town is for us to create a city to some form of development. Bethel Town has always been crying for development.
All right, thank you so much, Roger Hasfall, for that. Just spoke to Roger, you heard him before this, and he says nothing has changed. The situation remains the same. Just a quick reminder that the IRFM 11 Cocoa Relief Drive is underway, and we're appealing to you to give generously to people in affected area. They need urgently fresh drinking water, rice, flour, sugar, non-perishable food, tarpaulin, solar lights, battery or solar-powered radios. Personal hygiene products are also welcome. Drop your donation at IRFM right here at Coconut Grove in St. Anne or 1B Courtney Walsh Drive in Kingston. We will get your donation to those who need it. A small donation from you will make a big impact on somebody's life. The IRFM 11 Cocoa Relief Drive. Let's get Jamaica back on its feet quickly and make things airy still. Just a note, we do not need any more clothes. No more clothes. All right, so we've got enough clothes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Fresh drinking water, rice, flour, sugar. Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Floyd Green. Minister Green, we're not getting you. Your phone is ringing to voicemail. The preliminary assessments show that Hurricane Melissa caused about 29.5 billion in damage to Jamaica's agriculture sector. More than 70,000 farmers were affected, and the damage spans 49,390 hectares of farmland. That's the information coming in from the Ministry of Agriculture. Of course, you recall the hurricane made landfall on October 28 as a Category 5 system with winds exceeding 260 kilometers per hour. The hardest hit parishes include Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Hanover. These are major agricultural producers. What has happened to the recent gains in agriculture in Jamaica is a question. Before the storm, the sector was on target, we are told by the ministry, to exceed its 2022 crop production, and that this is now seriously threatened, this progress. So the detailed crop losses, vegetable lines, banana and plantain, fruit trees, tuber crops, yam, cassava, etc., coffee, 40% of trees damaged, 40 to 45% production loss, estimated 800 million Jamaican dollars in damage to the coffee industry. Regulated crops, including ginger and turmeric, large damage to their livestock and fishery, losses in that sector, poultry, other livestock, fisheries, infrastructure, vulnerability of Jamaica seriously exposed here. We're standing by to speak with Minister Floyd Green. We're not getting him on the line. We have been talking to him up to yesterday, and we're not hearing him this morning. But Minister Green, I know that you know you've got an interview, so you are probably listening. It might be a connectivity problem. depending on where you are. We are trying to use everything in our arsenal to get to you. If you can get to us, we'd appreciate that. The implications for food security, rural livelihoods, and all of that. With the loss of over 41,000 hectares of crops and massive livestock destruction, what does that mean for Jamaica? Of course, we are already seeing reduced domestic supply of vegetables, of tubers, of fruit, and of poultry. Friend wrote to me this morning and said he went to the supermarket and eggs came up short. Not getting him? We're still not. Sorry, say that again. All right. So the minister said that there will be, that plans are in place. And we want to talk to him about those plans also. I know Jamaica is very concerned at this minute. As Jamaicans, we are very concerned because we know literally when we talk about St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover, all of that area, we're talking about literally the food basket of Jamaica, the center of where most of Jamaica's domestic agriculture comes from. And so there is concern. Those farms have been devastated, decimated. The pictures you're seeing of banana trees and plantain trees and all crops wiped out and yam and cassava and just this decimation. So obviously there is a serious problem. And we are beginning to get glimpses of it. And I suppose there are some persons who are already seeing that in the supermarkets and in the markets and so on. But the minister also said, I recall, and I don't have this document, but I do recall him asking people, Jamaicans in other parishes. And I'm not quite sure what the answer is to that. For food security. You know, food security is a bedrock of this program. But we're talking about food security and now food safety. Food security and safety, because we're hearing also that the Minister of Health has warned, is warning Jamaicans to be careful about how you're storing food, and also I heard a discussion about the possibility of a case or two of leptospirosis. So this is critical now when you get a drinking water, when you get a food that you're storing. So we're also talking about food safety, but we're speaking seriously. What about both? But food security is challenged right now with what could result in a trigger in increased food imports and the rising food prices with greater pressure on household budgets. A major setback, of course, to Jamaica's agriculture recovery. So when we think about culture, the people, the culture of the people, there's something else that we have to think about and to focus on, which is the agri-culture. Where you are, start planting crops that can come quick. Plant your callaloo immediately, your cabbage, etc. You know, quick cash crops. Because the food basket is devastated. The rural farmers, how are you managing? I'm not quite sure what is in place for farmers. Is something we wanted to talk to the minister about. He said that 70,000 plus farmers were affected in the rural communities. We have St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover, that they are experiencing immediate income shocks, and wanted to talk to him a little bit about that, about what is in place. Many small farmers are operating without savings. You know, they used to have a bank named the PC Bank. I don't know what that bank was. That bank for loan? What was that bank for again? It was a farmer situation. I don't know what the insurance, crop insurance. I remember when Bobby Montague was agriculture minister, he talked a lot about insuring animals and crops and so on. So I'm not quite sure if that was in place. What are the financial buffers that are being put in place for small farmers? Such a large swathe of Jamaica are small farmers everywhere. And even if you're not in the badly hit areas, the winds were strong enough in the farming communities to have devastated everything. I can tell you that all my lemon tree fall down. You should see my husband in the morning after I push back the lemon tree and I catch it with all kind of something. It catch back too. But, you know, all the bananas, all the plantains, you know, every tree where could have fall, the strongest trees in my yard were the mango trees. But everything else, the moringa, you know, the June plum, soursop, I mean, everything just blew down. Not to mention the banana and the plantains.
No man can.
And we're talking about areas that were hit, but not badly. But the wind was so hard, the breeze so heavy that we lost plants. Much less the small farmers just across Jamaica. So the conversation on small farmers in the worst hit areas, yes, we must have that, and we must ensure that we are cushioning that fall. But in the areas that are not so badly hit, there are farmers also who have suffered devastating losses. This is a reality of the situation.
Hold your hand.
And then the severe strain on livestock and poultry. We saw Damian Crawford posting on social media just the carnage, the death of livestock, and we've seen others talking about this poultry. Just generally speaking, over half of the island's laying hens, we are told. There's a disruption in egg production, and this disruption could go on for months and months and months. Poultry shortage, of course, that I hear people already saying that they're seeing an increase in the cost of chicken, and you know. But here we are. The damage across 148 fishing beaches and just 2.74 billion in losses across Jamaica's fishing beaches. And this signals that the fish supply, which is a key source of nutrition and a livelihood here in Jamaica, that this will dip significantly. And we haven't even begun to look at the beaches. The coastal microeconomy is reliant on daily fishing income. These are going to feel immediate hardship. We've been looking at some of the fishing beaches, and the devastation there is one thing. And, you know, and just as an aside, some of the beaches are you know, there's a disaster capitalism going on where there's a grab on the beaches, people are locked out of some, and all of that. It's a whole other conversation that we're going to have, you know. There's just so much to talk about coming out of this, because we have to be mindful of disaster capitalism. Let me take a quick break and come back. I have the answers, but I am raising the questions just the same and giving you as much information as I have. Minister Green, you know, this morning when I announced what I've stopped doing on this program, right? And I laughed when I did it, because I totally forgot that I shouldn't have done that. So that I stopped doing at 6 o'clock announcing who's coming up on the program, especially when it's a politician, because there's a system, a well-oiled system in place here in Jamaica, that when I say earlier in the program at 6:30, who the upcoming guests are, that there are people who call those people and tell them not to come on. And the minute I said Floyd Green was going to be on, I remember the Christopher Tufton interview, right? And many more, by the way, many more. Which is to say that once I announce them, They never come on. So I figured that out a long time ago. And so what I stopped doing, and our listeners would know that this is a truth, that I've stopped announcing who's coming up what time in the program. But I completely forgot this morning, after so many years, I'd announced him. Now, it's an interesting situation, but I said to myself, and I chuckled at the moment, because I said to myself, you know, now I've just said he's going to be on, and somebody's going to call him and tell him not to come on, because I'm going to ask him other questions. But listen to this, I'm not asking anybody any other question in this period. If you notice what I'm doing, this is not a time to focus on all of the other issues that we have to discuss. Right now, we're in a place, my phone is ringing, pardon me, I should have turned it off. So right now we're in a place where it is so important for us to know what's happening, to know where the help is, to know what is happening, to know where to go, to hear from those who are in leadership positions. It is so important for unity at this time that I have thrown out the door all of the other issues that I have with whatever minister that I am talking to, that I need to ask about this or I need to ask about that. No. If we say that we're calling you to talk about the agriculture sector, is that we are going to talk about. Because right now, today, I have no time for nothing else but to find out what is the state of food security and safety on the island. I have no other interest. What are the plans? How the farmers are going to manage? How we're going to feed ourselves? Is there a starvation situation coming up or not? What you going to do? The only question that I would have asked that would be any way controversial would be, how are you going to prevent a flood of GMO products from coming into the island? That is the only other question that I would have asked Minister Green, other than what he was. And that would be part of the question anyway, because he did say that there are plans in place to import. And so we still need to talk about food safety. Because when we talk about food safety, GMO is the number one on the list, not leptospirosis or malaria or nothing. It is GMO. So I was going to ask that question, and not to dwell on it, but to say, let us try not to do that. Let's go for organic as much as possible. Let's go to the farmers across the world who are willing to give, and the countries that are willing to give that are not involved in the GMO production like some countries are. So if you go Europe, for example, if you're getting food, if we're in partnership with the European Union in terms of getting food in, not a bad idea, you're hardly going to get GMOs. If we go partnership with African countries, and there's so many African countries, West African countries, we see Ghana load up a whole trailer load, plane load, and more of things sending to Jamaica. Remember when I spoke to you this morning about Southcom, Africom, and Northcom, and so on? We talk about how Southcom meet Africom off the coast of West Africa. That's basically what it is, you know, in the waters there. Now, it's very easy. In the same way that Southcom just join up over there, so it's a shipping route, same way. Anything will come from the coast of West Africa will reach to us in short order. If a plane, it will get to us in 4 hours, and probably less. You know, if you want to go back around and go through the Strait of Gibraltar, that's your business. Follow the route of the USS Gerald Ford. All these massive warships that the US sent into the Caribbean waters. What if it was building material, food, not GMOs, relief material, hurricane relief help, and not weapons, nuclear power, guns, and God knows what else. What if all of those, this armada, just parking in the Caribbean to help Jamaica, Cuba, and Haiti? We had Originally we had Minister Floyd Green for half an hour, and I called back Vivina, our producer, and I said, Viv, agriculture is too important for half an hour. So let us see how we can include, and this is very early in the day, give Minister Green some more time. Tell me if he's okay with it. And he said yes, he was okay with it. And so we kind of extended the time. And here we are now. No Minister Green. But then, I'm not going to say that he was told not to come on. I'm going to say he's in a place where there's no connectivity. An increased risk of food inflation is something else that we wanted to talk about. But we hear some warning against that. We probably need a geologist and so on to help us look at the ecological and soil impacts, because we're watching and seeing what's happening across Jamaica, and boy, that is devastating. One of the things I notice a lot of people are talking about, right, is climate change. That climate change caused the hurricane. Well, I call BS on that. You know, I am not going to... Listen, when we were in high school, they were killing us about the ozone layer, right? Remember them said the sun, there's a hole in the ozone layer and the world are friend. I mean, I was in Red Cross. I was in Key Club. I joined every club. Student Union, Girl Guide, Red Cross, March and all. The whole shebang. And they were telling us about this hole in the ozone layer. They're not saying that anymore. But they've said a lot of things over time. But I like to say something. I like to say something like Bedwood. I put up my hand. I have something to say. Which is to say that we are witnessing on our watch wanton construction on this island. And we are seeing, and we march against it and talk against it and cry against it and tear our hair against it. We're seeing construction that includes the sale of our rivers, our seafront, our oceans, our beaches, our mountain streams. But it doesn't end there. If I sell and them it's still there's where they were meant to be. That's not bad or not bad. But I'm seeing something I've never seen in my entire life. We're seeing a wanton, it's a careless, selfish, narcissistic, sociopathic, Machiavellian way of construction, which are coming in and you buy the land and you get a massive swathes of land and you want the land with the rivers and you want the land in the watershed areas and you get them and then you change the rivers, the courses of the river and you block off the beaches. So there's so many rivers that their courses have totally been changed. The river course changed, the part of the river changed. And we're not talking about no little stream, you know? We're talking massive rivers that when rain fall and you hear it, you're afraid of it. The river that thunders. That's why them call it the roaring river. Because when rain fall and that the river come down, when that the river they are tumble down, all when you are driving in your car, in your SUV, and you're high up on the ground and your window them wind up and the air conditioner say, one, you still hear the river that roars. Now they have changed the course of the roaring river. They have changed the course of the roaring river. They have changed the course of many other rivers. And what have they done? They're building, construction, concrete, entire cities are going up. And the consequences. We don't talk about the consequences of chopping down the mountains, of deforestation, of changing the river courses. We don't talk about the consequences of that at all. Of blocking off drains. We do not. No. We're going to COP 30, COP 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 30. And now we're in Brazil with a begging bowl, talking about climate change. Climate change is a con. It's a con. What they're telling us is a con. Because until and unless you put back every river which art is supposed to today, and we see a different thing or the same thing, then you can talk to me about climate change. But right now, don't talk to none of me. You see, I cannot get into the climate change conversation, you know. I cannot, because I know it's a money-making, neoliberal con. I cannot get it. I've said this many times here. I do not subscribe to this conversation on climate change. I do not. I will not. Until you stop mining out the sea, mining out the cockpit country, drilling down into the sea, mining out the wall of the Caribbean, then you can tell me about climate change. Climate change, my foot. You are destroying the earth and you're telling us that it is climate change. It's not climate change. You move the river and the river have to find somewhere to go. No climate, no change. At the same climate when me a Pitney grew up. As a matter of fact, when I was young, we used to have, you know, heavy rains, same way like these. And the river, all of the river then go we shot than supposed to go. And if they even broke down something, we build it up back tomorrow morning and we're good again. The river, the same place we shot is supposed to do. Now, I don't know where the Roaring River is. So we're in search of the Roaring River. That's basically where we are now. Time and Area FM. It's a minute after 8 o'clock and we're in search of the Roaring River. We're also in search of the Minister of Agriculture, who confirmed to be on this program for an hour, but has not turned up. So I don't know if there's going to be a national shift in the national agricultural policy, but I hear some conversation and we are paying attention to that. What I'm afraid of, though, is that this is going to be, because you know how politicians are and you know how this wider conversation on climate change, and especially when you talk climate change and you hit up with people like Bill Gates, although I hear him talking differently now because it don't suit him. But when you go into these spaces where there's a lot of funding, there's a whole lot of money. They create the problem, is money laundering. They create the problem, them throw money on it, and then give it to small countries and so on. They're making a bag load of it. One of these days I'm going to talk you through how this climate change works. It's funding. It's funding. Show me one person who is not championing climate change, who not looking for grant. It's money. It's money. It's money. It's a funding industrial complex. So when we march against the mining in the cockpit country, we don't care if we get 1 cent for it. We're not doing it for the money. When we say free the beaches, we don't want no cent from it. You understand? We're talking about access. We're talking about protecting the land. We're talking about protecting ourselves. You get the point I'm making? Okay. It's all money at the end of the day. So they're going to wrap this into a climate change conversation. And before we know it, we're going to talk about greenhouse crops. Remember, we have a land we can plant a crop on, but we have the land that we can plant the crop on, but they have sold it all, right? They have turned the farmlands into concrete jungles. And now they're telling us about greenhouse crops, right? They have sold the rivers, and now they're telling us about GMOs. They want to teach us another way to plant the same thing that we've been planting for years. So the farmers have lost so much. What are we about to tell the farmers who have lost so much? What are we going to tell them? Because right now, the immediate need is survival of the farmer and his family. You understand? And her family. So what is a plan? What is a plan? What is a plan for agriculture in Jamaica? Are we going to flood Jamaica with GMOs? And if we flood Jamaica and GMOs, will we tell the people that these are GMOs? Will we label them at least so that we have a choice? What are we about to bring into the island? That's what it is. Disaster capitalism is about to rear its head. Do not sell your land. Do not sell your land. Stand up against GMOs. But are we going to stand up against GMOs when we're hungry? Because if cornmeal come and it's cornmeal come, and we know cornmeal has been GMO from one of the first things that went GMO was corn. That's from the 80s. That's GMO. My phone is ringing. Please do not call me when I'm on air. Please text me. So here we are.
Something that's real.
Agriculture in Jamaica has the potential to be the number one income earner and to solve our unemployment. Jamaica and Singapore in terms of it. And I remember now, I ask. For those of us in the areas where there are so many unused crown lands, and you're saying to us plant, but we not really have no where for plant, what about the unused crown lands? Are you going to make them available, or should I just go on? Because this is urgent, you know. The question is, what is the ministry's current stance on GMOs? I know, I can hear you saying, we're hungry right now, we don't even care if it is GMO or not. And this is where we are. And we are going to call for digital IDs. We're going to call for smart cities. We're going to call for GMOs. That's a plan. That's a plan. We're going to call for these things. So when we talk about food sovereignty, because one of the things, is that we talk about food security, food safety, but there's also food sovereignty. Remember, I did an entire series of program a few months ago on food sovereignty, which is to say that GMOs will kill seed sovereignty. And in that way, we will become more and more dependent on these multinational producers. If you have not read the book 1984 as yet by George Orwell, now might be the time to buy it. Let me know who's on the line. If you tell me who's on the line, I'll go straight to the line. Let me know. Should I go to the phone lines and take this call? Tell me what to do, because I'm doing that. I'm putting this call on the line. Who do we have on the line? I can't see you people. Let me see. Look at that. Minister, I'm so happy that...
Good morning. Apologies.
Look here, because I'm coming up with all kinds of reasons why you haven't come on. So I'm very happy that you're here this morning. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm very happy that they're able to get me.
This is, look here, you do it deliberately for shame, but it's okay. Thank you.
No, I would never.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on. Listen, ma'am, what a devastation, though. First of all, how are you?
Boy, I tell people I've seen better days. It's tough. It's taxing. I think of all the things, I think just the extent of the devastation and just how different the place that you know, that you love, looks, makes every day a challenging day, Every time you go into Black River and you remember what was and you see what it is now, and then, to be honest, it looks 3,000 times better than directly after the hurricane, but still, and then there are so many people who've been displaced, so many people who their regular lives have been uprooted with something that they had no control over. And I mean, not just houses, but businesses. And, we often talk about families and things, but I really feel it, especially for some of our older citizens, those who would have already, lived out a full life, are now in retirement and felt that you have fought all your battles already, I was with one yesterday, he's 82, And he was saying, boy, MP, I don't know if I can build back in this life. It's a tough reality to come to terms with. But with that said,
yes.
I do find that these situations, these times of crisis, do bring out the best in Jamaicans.
Yes, true.
That is the thing. Every day you find something to be hopeful about. Every day somebody makes you laugh and smile, and sometimes you're amazed at the circumstance that people find themselves in, but still how positive they remain.
All right, Minister, look here, we have just a few minutes with you, right? So
yes.
I'm going to just give you the moment to talk to Jamaica about the extent of the damage, because I know there's a figure on it this morning. I've been saying it's 29.5 billion or something to that effect, and what the plans are to mitigate, especially small farmers.
Yeah, so our agricultural sector has been extremely hard hit. To put it in perspective, Hurricane Beryl caused $7 billion in damage. This hurricane, Melissa, is 29 billion, almost 30 billion. And what we've seen is just the diversity of crops and livestock that have been negatively impacted. So our commercial banana and plantain crop has been wiped out. We've lost about 70% of our yam crop. We've seen a tremendous hit to our vegetable lines. So while the 5 parishes of St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James have been hardest hit, the reality is that a lot of the rain and the wind extended right across the island. So places in Clarendon, places in St. and also some other battery. I think one of the areas that's been most hard hit have been our poultry and egg farmers. So we lost about 458,000 birds in our egg production. That's about half our laying flock. And in poultry, in our broiler, we lost about 700,000 birds. So in total, over 1 million birds have been lost. So, it's very devastating, especially for our fishers, where about 3,000 boats have been damaged, which is about 45% of our total fishing fleet, and above beach is fully destroyed. But I think we know we have to eat. And as such, our farmers and fishers appreciate that even despite the destruction, they're ready to get back out. So the recovery effort starts now. I would have outlined a plan of action for all our farmers, but especially trying to help our farmers, small farmers and fishers. And it means immediately through RADA making seeds available so that especially those who farm our vegetable lines can get back out there as quickly as possible. We have about $40 million in seeds that our RADA offices have started to distribute to the farmers listening on. Contact your RADA office, your RADA officer, if you are interested. We are looking to target some of the parishes that were not as impacted because, it may take some time in some of the other parishes to get back up and running, but long and short of it, we need to get going. In relation to our poultry farmers, we're in our program where we'll be distributing, some baby chicks, some feed. We're also going to help in reconstructing some of the chicken houses because, a lot of people lost the houses themselves. So we'll be working on that. Outside of that, in our fisheries sector, we actually started the distribution of fishing wire. Started at the Alligator Pond on Friday. A number of our fishers lost what we call their pots. For our fishing sector, they use the wire, make the pots, and put it out. And then they come back out and it's nowhere to be found. So we've also dispatched generators to get our fishing fuel stations up and running so that our fishers can get back out there. So we've done that in Montego Bay, we've done that in Lances Bay, we've done that in Great Bay, we've done that in Alligator Pond, just to get them back out as quickly as possible. So it will be a long-term recovery, but we have to start immediately.
All right, let me ask you a few questions from that. First, there are many who are able to plant but do not have land. And I know that there's a call coming from your office and your ministry, which is to say, get back out there if you're in areas that are not badly hit, where land is available and you have land available, farm cash crops quickly and so on. But what about crown lands? Will crown lands be made available for farming in areas that haven't been badly damaged?
So one of the things that we have said, even before Hurricane Melissa, we had indicated that we are moving to establish at least one agri-park in every parish. In other words, in every parish we need to find an area of crown land that we specifically dedicate for agriculture. We've done so in some parishes like Clarendon, we have multiple, St. Catherine, we have multiple. In fact, we're doing a new agri-park in Clarendon, in St. Catherine, Amity Hall, where we've put in irrigation. We have in St. Thomas, parts of Portland. We're moving out to establish one in St. Anne. So the easy answer is yes, we will be identifying parcels of land that are good for agriculture and trying to help farmers in that regard. But outside of that, where farmers have land, one of the things that we are doing is that I have announced that for the next 6 months, or rather tractor service will be free. So we will be doing free land preparation. Okay. So if you have land, but one of your difficulty was getting that land prepared so that you can plant, again, reach out to RADA. We're going to be doing that land preparation free. Additionally, we do have some seeds and planting material at Bodles and some of our nurseries. And we're going to make that free for the next 3 months. So you can reach out to Bodles, and we just provide you, normally you'd have to pay, we'll provide you that free of cost. So yes, we're going to be identifying lands that can go into agriculture, and we're also providing additional support to land preparation.
Okay. In terms of importation, because it's something that have been said, I'm not quite sure if you mentioned it here yet, in terms of bringing in food, what are the plans for that?
Yeah, so we will have to do some short-term tapping into external sources. You know, the Ministry of Agriculture does not want to import. Our drive is normally always for primary production, but clearly we have to balance, because we do know that there will be some short-term displacement. The good news is that for the vegetable lines, if we start now, we know that in another 8 weeks or 12 weeks we can see some return, and that's why it's so important that we get it out now. But in the interim, clearly where there is a significant gap, we will have to tap into external sources. So we limit it to only the things that are critical that we consume a lot of. So right now our vegetables are extremely short. I think we would have gone through the salvage and provide for it. So normally 2 weeks after the storm, we might not see a lot of displacement because people try to get whatever is left of the crop and put that out there. But now you would be going into a phase. And anytime there's a shortage, it leads to a significant rise in price. And we don't want things like our fruits and vegetables to be out of reach, especially at this time. So we will tap into that, but this will be a short-term basis. We've identified probably 2 months that we will take that approach. Eggs, for example, is a major one because we've already looked at the gaps. So, for example, we would normally consume, and this is the approach that we take, just to give you an idea, we would normally consume, let us say, 7 million eggs in the month of November. And then in the month of December, which is high demand, that will go up to 9 million eggs that we consume. So when we look at what we have now, we've lost our top 3 egg farmers, right? So we're now down to probably about 4 million eggs for the month of November. So that's a significant gap. And clearly, that gap would continue for December because even when you put on the pullets, how do you protect food sovereignty, which is to say ensuring that we're not taking in GMOs, and what's the policy regarding that? Yeah, so that is something that we guard against. It's a clear policy that we have, and that is why we don't source from anywhere, and we have clear standards. Not only GMOs, but we have to guard against disease. There are diseases some in other places of the world. I'll give you an example, like bird flu, that we've been, we haven't had that challenge here, the avian influenza, and we don't want that challenge here because that can wipe out the rest of our stock. So sometimes people complain and say, boy, the ministry is a little hard and they want to bring things from X and they want to bring things from Y. But those concerns that you raise are around whether things are modified, whether things are going to open up. So I'll give you an example. We do not import bananas, right? So we will go through a shortage of bananas, but we can't run the risk because of just the widespread nature of something called TR4, right? And if that were to come here, then, you know, let's look at what has happened with our citrus.
Yes.
Remember, Jamaica used to be a big citrus
I know.
producer.
I've been asking what happened to the citrus trees.
Disease. Disease. So when you look and you see these oranges that have turned black,
yes,
right, is largely because of citrus greening disease. Yes. And that wiped out more than almost our entire orange citrus industry. Now we're really on the rebound, but it will take some time. So, yeah, I think Jamaicans can rest assured that it's not a free-for-all. It's not that we're just going to open up and say, come. People still have to go through. We have our quarantine, our veterinary services division, and they are very good at looking to see identified sources, ensuring that they align with what we produce and the way we produce it, so that we don't have those challenges.
What was the policy on GMOs?
So again, we do not look to import GMO food. I think we've said that time and time again. It's not something that we do. Just as you haven't heard a program here of anything we don't do in our agricultural sector.
Yes,
we don't look to import it.
Okay.
Right? So you haven't heard a program here of us trying to get into GMO food. Right? That hasn't been the case. I don't think it's something that the Jamaicans, all of us, guard against. So that is not. We are not going to import anything that we don't produce in the fashion that we produce it.
And in terms of the small farmers, because I know there must be an immediate need in terms of just income. Is there something?
Yes.
Is there something on the table for that? And is a PC bank part of that whole thing? I'm not sure why I'm thinking the PC bank, but it's been coming up in my mind.
Yeah. So I'm looking to have some discussions with the PC Bank, also with DBJ. Now, DBJ does target our bigger farmers, our medium to large farmers, but the PC Bank, you are right, used to be very, very critical in engaging the smaller farmers around relief and around coming up with, sort of financing options for them, right? The reality is that they went through a lot of challenges about a decade ago, or a little bit more than that, right? Which caused, a lot of issues with the bank and its management. Now they're on the rebound. So I met with them earlier last year to see where they are in terms of capital and what could be done. And I'm going to see if we can engage them again about providing some financing options for our farmers.
Where do the farmers do now? They go to RADA or what?
RADA is the answer now. And, I know, I think people, I have to express it. The extent of the devastation is significant. You won't be able to help all farmers at the same time. I think our farmers appreciate that, right? So if you know, for example, you are not ready to get back out there as yet, right? Hold on. Because what is important, as we've been discussing, is to see how we can get our production numbers up. We will definitely help more farmers than we've ever helped in Hurricane Beryl. We got up to about 90% of the farmers impacted, and we're trying to keep those same numbers, right? We've earmarked about 70,000 farmers that have been impacted, so we'll be looking to do as much of them as possible. So reach out to RADA. I know some of the RADA offices have been reaching out to some of the farmers, and some people have gone in. Same thing with our fishers. Reach out to the National Fisheries Authority. It will take us time to get to everyone, but we've started the process.
And finally, Minister, you have just a minute. In terms of a food shortage, do you see a food shortage coming, and how concerned are we to be?
I think the steps that we're taking now will avert that. There will be, while those systems get up and running, there will be a little discomfort in terms of, there will be some, as people are already seeing, some rises in prices, but I expect that will moderate over the next 2 weeks, and that people will have sufficient food for Christmas, and then by January, our local production should be in a space to start pulling back together in terms of start supplying, and then as we go forward for the rest of the next year, we should get back to our stage. I know, we had a very quick recovery from Hurricane Beryl. I know this one is going to take a lot more, but I think our farmers and officials are up to the task, and we will help them.
I know you're very, very busy, but I'd like you to find some time where you can answer some questions of the farmers, and if you can make it in the studio, as busy as you are, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right,
so
no
much.
problem.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you for reaching out.
Right.
Yes, all right. Okay, Minister Floyd Green there. All right, just remember, Hurricane Melissa has devastated the homes and lives of many of our brothers and sisters. We are appealing to you to give generously to the IRFM 11 Cocoa Relief Drive. People in the affected areas urgently need fresh drinking water, rice, flour, sugar, non-perishable food, tarpaulin, solar lights, battery or solar-powered radios. Personal hygiene products are also welcome. Drop off your donation at IRFM right here at Coconut Grove, St. Anne, or 1B Courtney Walsh Drive in Kingston. We'll get your donation to those who need it. A small donation from you will make a big difference and an impact on somebody's life. We do not need any more clothes. Remember that. IRFM 11 Cocoa Relief Drive, accepting water, flour, rice, non-perishable goods, and so on. All right, time on IRFM is 8:30. And, of course, we're standing by for the Supreme Ventures draw. Let me just say once again, thanks to Minister Green for reaching out and ensuring that we had a conversation as small as it was. And but we still appreciate him coming in and talking to that. So much more to talk about. But I think that we got enough information out to the farmers, especially to say what you need to do. But also, all right, let me go at JPS, our sister Audrey Williams. How are you doing, Audrey? Morning.
Hello. Good morning, Sister Kabu. How you do?
I am well. If you two are well, how are things with you and the JPS?
Well, we are pulling out all the stops, and because we know that people are relying on us, we had a media briefing this week that just closed.
Yes.
And we have some updates, and we have some specifics, because I know people have been asking for some specifics as well.
Yes.
And to be honest, we didn't want to give any commitment that we were not going to see through, or that we felt we couldn't maybe make it, because the
I
last
know you said that. Yeah, you did say that last week, and it is understood. Point well taken for false hopes and so on. So you have more specific.
We do have some specifics, because we see where we can do something. So let me start with the broad picture. Broadly speaking, we are expecting to get 95% of customers in the parishes of Portland and St. Mary back in by the first week of December. And when we say 95%, we really mean pretty much normalized, except for difficult pocket access issues, road gone, etc. But where it is possible to do so, we're going to have about 95% of the customers in Portland and St. Mary in by the first week of December, which is roughly 2.5 weeks away from now.
Okay. I know that a lot has been done in St. Mary, also Port Maria, and also in Otrias. So that's good news. Yes.
And I'm gonna come to St. Anne, because I have some information for your garden parish. We also want to confirm overall that customers in St. Anne, Clarendon, and Manchester, 75% of those customers will be restored also by December 10.
75%?
75%. Now, we have some specifics for you as it relates to a few parishes. And if you will, let me read the list.
Go ahead.
All right. So for St. Anne, these are the areas that we are expecting to be energized by December 10. They are Alderton, Blackstonage, Claremont, Content Garden, Exchange, Cape 10, Gibraltar East, Golden Grove, Monigue, Ocheria, I know there are sections in, but all, Ocheria, Riverhead, St. Anne's Bay, Colgate, Deertown, Walker's Wood, and Bohemia. Those are the communities that we expect to restore by December 10 in St. Anne.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
For our customers in Clarendon, these customers are expecting to be in by December 10 as well. Ali, Bushy Park, Chapelton, Cockpit, Pirato Hill, Effortville, Four Pass, Freetown, Gimme Me Bit, Glenmuir, Hall, Hazard, Longville Park, Longwood, Maypen, Mineral Heights, Milk River, Moors, New Denby, New Longsville, Old Denby, Osborne Store, Paisley, Palmer's Cross, Pennant, Pleasant Valley, Race Court, Rock River, Rosewell, Salt River, Sandy Bay, Sanguinetti, Spalding, Summerfield, Tollgate, Treadlight, Trout Hall, Turners, Water Lane, and Yorktown. Those are for Clarendon.
By December 10?
December 10.
Wow, it's a lot of Clarendon that's out.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for Manchester now, and that's the only other parish that I have specifics for. And I want to hasten to say, if you are not in these three parishes where we itemize some communities, it does not mean that we are not working in your parish. Don't take it to mean that these are the only people coming in, or these are the people for whom we are giving specific timelines. There are other people that we are still working on. We're still working to get in. I think we have almost all of the major public hospitals at this point. Obviously, we wouldn't have like Black River Hospital and Savlamar Hospital, Lucy, for obvious reasons.
Right.
But in terms of essential services, etc., we're still working on those. We're still working on large commercial centers, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But if you don't hear your community, don't feel like, oh, well, these are the only places they're working. It's not. I'm going to now list the Manchester communities, which are the last set that I have specific communities for.
Go ahead.
And so Manchester by December 10, these communities by December 10. Banana Ground, Belfield, Bethany, Blue Mountain, Bombay, Broadleaf, Butt Up, Chantilly, Chudley, Christiana, Cobbler, Comfort, Downs, Georges Valley, Greenvale, Harmon, Harrywatch, Hatfield, Hibernia, Huntley, Kendall, Litchfield, Mandeville, and we know there are some in right now, but more so, Mandeville, Mayday, Miketown, New Forest, New Green, Forest, Prospect, Richmond, Robbins Hall, Scott Pass, Spring Ground, Fir Tree, Top Hill, Victoria Town, and Walderston. These are your Manchester communities by December 10. Now, on the point of commercial centers, large commercial centers, we do want our customers to know that that's another high priority goal of ours where the restoration protocol is concerned. So we know it's essential first, and then the large commercial centers. As we speak, right now as we speak, we have literally hundreds of men in Montego Bay working to restore the city. We know that we have some of it in already, right? So we would have put in the hip strip, we would have put in Fairview Shopping Center, Fairview Community, we would have put in the San Francisco International Airport as part of essential services, we would have put in some water pumps. But we are working in Montego Bay today, like literally bringing crews from all over to work in the city, because we understand that Mobay is really a vital hub. Right. A lot of employment in Western Jamaica, not just in St. James, but even people who live outside of St. James.
Including north, traveling to St.
Right, exactly, including along the north coast, go to St. James for employment. People in Westmoreland, people in Hanover work in St. James. People in Trelawney work in St. James. And even as far as St. Anna, maybe beyond. Yes. Who knows? So it's a vital area.
What has been the main challenge in Mobay? It's been done for a while. So too Ocho Rios, because as you said, just some of Ocho Rios back, and these are two main urban centers.
Right. So I do know that there was significant damage to the transmission network, and I know that there was significant flooding. I was very surprised to hear the mayor describing some of the flooding that took place. I didn't even realize that there were 4 rivers in Montego Bay. He described Montego River, Barnett River, High River, and another one I don't recall, coming together, and just the extensive flooding and even the storm surge that they had, where water was coming right up over Howard Cook and coming right into the city. I was very surprised by that. Catherine Hall took a massive blow, I understand, in terms of the flooding that took place. In those circumstances where you have a lot of poles going down in the saturated soils and so on, breaking, etc., and the transmission, the source of the power coming into Montego Bay was also compromised. So there were a number of issues that had to be dealt with for that area to be restored.
So that you're saying that there's massive work that's going on in Mobay today. What does this mean for Montego Bay? They should be up and running?
In terms of a timeline, so I don't have a timeline for Montego Bay, but we are working on it as much as we can, get as much of the city up and running, because we appreciate the importance that it plays in our economic viability. Even the BPO sector, which is a big employer, parts of Freeport are up, and I would believe that they're trying to get the rest of it up, etc. So in terms of a timeline, and we're very, very cautious about timelines, because we want people to know when we put out a timeline, we're going to stand by it. So we don't have one, for the simple reason that we don't want to give a wrong timeline. We want you to know whatever timeline we give you, you can have confidence in. So I don't have a timeline for Montego Bay. All I can say is they are working to get as much of the city back in as is possible. If I do get one, I will most definitely share it. But we're working to get the city back up and running, because that's a vital, as the mayor also said, it's a vital city, not just to Jamaica, but even in the Caribbean.
What do you have on Portland?
For Portland, we have 95% expected to be up and running by the first week of December.
95%?
By the first week of December, right. Okay, so restoration is ongoing in Portland, and we expect to have 95% of it up and running by that time.
In terms of the harder hit areas, what's happening there? St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, when you just talk about St. James, Hanover.
Right. Westmoreland is going to be really a long run, no lie. It's going to be a long run. We've actually started to get a little bit of power into St. Elizabeth, but as they say, the last mile is the hardest. So the little bit of power that is in St. Elizabeth right now, for Junction, Southfields, and Santa Cruz has a bit of power as well. Those communities are actually being fed from across Manchester side.
Okay.
With a little creativity, put it that way. But there are limitations to that, because there are limitations as to how many customers we can actually put on that line coming from Manchester.
On the backside, go ahead.
Right. What we want to say to customers, however, in some of these really hard hit areas, there are some things that you will need to do on your end to enable you to receive power safely. So, persons who experience severe flooding, you're going to need to get your licensed electrician to come and inspect your wiring. In fact, if you had severe flooding, it is likely that the government electrical regulator will require you to be recertified. Recertification is something that takes place where there is severe flooding, where there is a fire, if you've had to do significant work on your structure, even if you've added on, which is not the context here, but just to put that out as well, if you've added on, you have to get your new part recertified. So if it is that you have had flooding to the point where you have had to leave your home, you will need recertification. If you've had very high winds, come and get your electrician, your licensed electrician, to check things like your pothead, which might have been disturbed. The service wire might have been disturbed. So you're going to need to do some things on your end.
And that is critical because it's something that we didn't think of with my mom, and as you know, and she, I think she's still without electricity, being the only one in the community, and it's interesting because that is something that we wouldn't have thought to check, you know. So just to say to everyone, the high winds, check, make sure everything is, or get somebody in to check, because obviously we can't do these checks ourselves.
Right, you will need your licensed electrician.
But that's so critical. But I hear you saying that if you had heavy flooding, you're going to need to be recertified. What is that process? Do you have to go somewhere to do this, or?
All right. For the recertification process, first you get your licensed electrician to check your wiring, or do it over if that is the case, because some of that wiring might be compromised by the high waters going into your sockets, etc., right? They're going to get your electrician to do that over. And then so the government electrical regulator, that is managed by the Ministry of Energy. They can request it. It is privatized, but the list of government electrical regulators, you can get that on their website. So you can go to their website, identify, a government electrical regulator, an inspector rather, to come out. They have to physically come to your property and inspect it to make sure that it meets the standards of safety which are required for you to safely receive electricity.
So many people, so many people who have been flooded out don't have the ability to check a website because the phone network is down everywhere.
So that is true. It is a particularly challenging situation. They may have to get second-hand help, so to speak. And that is something that maybe the ministry themselves, they can reach out to the ministry to coordinate, to assist them, because disaster of this scale is not normal time. So under normal times, you would go to the website, maybe check for an inspector to come and see your home, etc. Under the circumstances, perhaps through ODPEM, and I'm just throwing this out now as a suggestion. I don't know what they have planned on their end in terms of dealing with recertifications. But it is very likely that they may have some kind of general scheme to deal with that. And I'm sure we can listen out to hear more from them.
What about homes that are in places that already flood out, but the light come back already and everybody have light and they're going about their merry business?
Well, if they have already received light safely, that's not to say that they cannot check just the same with their electrician to make sure that nothing was compromised along the way. Because you really don't want a secondary disaster on top of the first disaster, right? So even if you've got backlight, if you knew that you left your house in waist-high water,
right,
you do want to be checking. It takes a while to dry out fully. Things can get disturbed, waterlogged, damaged along the way, right? Mold, all kind of something can happen. So it really behooves you to get somebody to make sure.
Please check on the houses if you did flood out and the light come back.
To make sure that it is, that you're okay, that you're safe.
Yes.
Because we don't want to assume things.
No.
Right? And that is why these standards are put in place by regulators and our administrators. They're put in place to ensure that persons not just have light, but have it safely. So we encourage persons to get that professional in.
Audrey, we're totally out of time. I don't know. I can give you an extra minute, and then you have to talk to Kimberly afterwards. But I'll give you a minute.
All right, no problem. I just want to say in that last minute that safety first is the issue here. We know we want the light bad, and we understand it. But we want even more than that for you to be safe. So get your premises checked. That's very important.
Thank you so much, my sister. And
we're
going to keep in touch with you because this is, we have, not even Gilbert, I think we experienced anything like this. So this is just beyond the pale. So we'll keep in touch with you on this. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You are so welcome. All right. Take good care.
Me, if you don't mind. I know she's standing by. So give me 5 minutes from Kim. Let me just make a quick link with Westmoreland. And this is one of the most devastated areas. And since they're actually on the line, let me just go to see who do we have online? Black X and the crew. Hey, morning. Greetings. Who is? Sorry, say that again?
Yes, this is Black X and the crew.
Black X and the crew, yes, man. The Taki Chief Tetri Heritage group there in Westmoreland. Thank you so much, Black X. Thank you so much to the crew. I know you're speaking on behalf of Black X, my sister. So welcome and welcome to the team. Where in Westmoreland are you?
Presently we're in Bethel Town.
Mm-hmm.
Westmoreland. That's Eastern Westmoreland.
Right. And what's the situation there now?
Well, at present we have about 8 persons here waiting to talk to you about all their conditions and the Melissa situation, the experience they had.
Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead, let's do this. We don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm very happy to hear from you because it's so difficult to get through to anyone in these areas. So my sister and the team, thank you so much for calling in. All right, so go ahead. Who do we have now?
Hi, this is Taliba from Bethel Town, and currently our situation is that we have no internet, no phone coverage, nothing at all. Mm-hmm. Well, little water can help us, but food problem and some crisis. So it is hard. We lose our roof. Many people lose their homes. And we're trying. A lot of people lost their jobs. We're trying, though.
Yes. What do you need urgently now?
Excuse me?
What do you need urgently now?
We need water up here.
Mm-hmm. Urgently.
Building material is the most urgent thing right now. People need somewhere to live.
Yes, but I understand water because dehydration is nothing for play with. So I hear the building material and I understand that water is needed urgently also.
Yes, we kind of need it because we went. There's a camp here that the soldiers come to, and we went there. They're gonna let us know that if you have a wall house and your roof went away, they don't care. They're not going to help you. You go on by your business, and that is not right because people who live in wall house, their roof went away also, and their things went up, destroyed. That make no sense.
So where are they, and how do you sleep? I mean, for those who are told this, that if you have wall house and your roof gone, you're up on your own. What do you do?
That's what they said to us. They said we should find a way out. We must find our own way out. They have none for help. Even though they got the things to assist us, they're going to let us know. We went to get tarpaulin to put over our roof, and they're going to let us know that if you have a wall house, go on with your business, they're not going to help us. They're not helping. Only people who live in a board house and lose their board house, so they can't help us. So what are we supposed to do if the wall house roof is gone? We're going to get wet. So if you can't give us a tarpaulin to help, then why are you going to tell us they're not going to give it to us? We must go on about with business.
This is serious. Is it that? Oh, I don't even know what to say. This is maddening, though. So what? All right. Let me hear from everyone.
Go ahead. Okay.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, my brother. How you doing?
Okay, my name is Henry. My roof, not just my roof. My house is gone, and I need, we need help. But the thing I'm asking, ma'am, is it possible that you could come this side so the village people and myself or not, we can have more time to show you and talk?
Yes.
They can help a lot. I mean, it would be really, really appreciated.
Yes.
I'm just asking you.
No, I'm making the commitment. My only thing is that I'm heading off to Africa, but I'll be back shortly, and it's not going to be a long trip. As soon as I get back, I'll head there. I'll definitely come there. I don't think I can get there before, but I know that Roger will be back, and I'm going to ask my sister Amber, DJ Amber, to also come by. I know she's been back and forth. DJ Sunshine, I know, is also leading the 1-1 Coca Relief Drive, and I think they're going to be heading out shortly. So I'll also say this to Sunshine. All right?
Okay, ma'am.
And the
Wonderful.
team. Yes, and the team.
Rockets on the team. All right?
Yes.
Good. Thank you very much.
I'm concerned though about the homelessness, because this seems urgent to me. Like where do you live now?
Well, I'm staying with my brother right now.
Okay. What about the sister who just spoke to me? And your brother's house is all together?
Yes, they didn't lose anything.
All right, the sister Taliba who just spoke to me just now. She with the roof that's gone.
Yeah.
Where are you staying? Are you okay? In terms of
we're still in the house. We tried to get some of the zinc that blow off the post office and try to put it up, but it's leaking because there were holes in there, so water's still coming in. But we tried to cramp in some spaces.
All right. So it's food, it's building material, it's tarpaulin. This is Bethel Town. These are and how many more like you who are being told the very same thing? Is it a whole lot of people with concrete houses who are being told the same thing?
It's a lot of people who are over by the school to collect, get assistance, and that's what they said to us.
So they had about 300 to 500 people coming to collect tarpaulins and food supplies, and that's the reaction she got when she went.
Okay.
So that's so unfortunate reaction.
Yes.
Because everybody needs something right now, and the covering of the roof is so important. Now we have, for me, my roof is gone also, and I basically put everything aside, and I'm talking about my roof in Castle Mountain, and also in Brooklyn Town, because we have different communities, and everybody's devastated, and if the proper authorities are not in place, they are not there to say, well, we're coming through and we're making a tally, and we can deal with each individual. I'm going to let you talk to Mr. Brown. He lost most of his house.
All right. Wow. My heart goes out to you in all across Jamaica, but just listening to our brothers and sisters in Bethel Town. Mr. Brown?
Yes, morning.
Greetings. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yes, last night